It's Hot Mike with Hutton and Withrow, where daily we discuss the National Football League and the push for the postseason. In the AFC, plenty of teams trying to jockey for positioning. In the NFC, well, the best teams in the NFL with the Philadelphia Eagles and San Francisco 49ers.
Well, hold on, Hutton. Not just those teams, but how about the Detroit Lions is one of the best teams in the NFL? Other shows may not mention that or talk about it. We will.
We are on board with Detroit. Subscribe to the podcast. Join us each day for Hot Mike with Hutton and Withrow across the Outkick Network. We discuss the NFL, college football, and the top headlines from Outkick.com.
All right, what's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the TMossBoss Show. And in today's episode, so I kind of wanted to drop some motivational words for those that deal with this. If you don't, then, I guess you can listen to it in case you are worried that you will ever deal with something like this. But anyways, all right, so yeah, getting on with today's episode, having people choose others over you. It sucks. You know, it's one of those things where it's like you never know how to handle it. Like, you know, even when it's like right there happening and you know you've been through it before, every time you're not going to know how to handle it. You're not going to know how to handle somebody choosing somebody else over you. And the thing is this, you're going to start thinking reckless. You're going to most likely start acting reckless. You're not going to, it's going to change you. 100% it's going to change you. I was thinking about that the other day when I was uploading this video, kind of talking on like my depression from 2 years ago. And that's one thing, like, you know, when you're kind of going through this emotional ride because you're literally looking at it going down like somebody choosing somebody else over you, you know, and that like emotional ride of like, you know, you're dealing with anger, you're trying to find happiness, you're sad, you know, you're dealing with it all. You're saying goodbye to yourself because then you're gonna, and who knows, maybe you might be that type of person where it's like, okay, well, you know, I'm gonna go through this emotional ride, but I'm not gonna change who I am. But you do kind of have like this change about you that you don't really, you know, you don't realize it until you've been through it enough. And me, I'll have to say I've been through it enough from like all the way back when I could think of when I was a kid, bro, where it was like friend groups, freaking, you know, random friends, like not even people in friend groups with just random friends, you know, like, and just, yeah, all throughout my life and stuff where it's like you were chosen or somebody else was chosen over you and things. I mean, it could be in all aspects. I have to say when it's more of a friendship or a relationship thing, then yeah, that's gonna stick out more. But even like, you know, situations that wasn't as serious, but yeah, job interviews. I remember a guy, and I think I've told this story before, how Chipotle, they didn't hire me because I didn't know as much as the other people that has been hired on there and stuff. And I'm like, but I'm a good worker. Like, I can put in the work, I can learn. It's like, I didn't realize I needed a history lesson to learn about how burritos got made. It's like, you guys ain't even the originators of creating burritos. Let's see who's the originator of creating burritos. Because I'm like, unless you guys were the reason why burritos even exist, who invented the burrito? Fabrino Ontiveros claimed to have offered the first retail burrito in San Francisco in 1961 at El Faro, the Lighthouse, a corner grocery store. Dang, it was, why did I think like the burrito very first originated in like the like 1800s or before or something. Like this mess came out in 1923. Changed this to in 56, a frozen burrito was developed. So like, I'm so confused. Before the development of the modern burrito, the Maya civilization of Mexico used corn tortillas as early as 1500 BC to wrap foods with fillings of chili pepper, tomatoes historically. So like, yeah, I was about to say, I'm like, nah, bro, burritos had to come out at some point in time prior before 1961. I just feel like that is just way too early and stuff. So, but anyways, like, but overall though, that just furthermore proves my point that Chipotle was on some stuff when they didn't hire me over the fact of like, you know, who, you know, what history lesson. I'm like, if we really gonna get into a history lesson, let's talk about the inventor of the burrito. Let's talk about that guy. How come I don't see no pictures of that man all across the walls and stuff? I'm like, man, nobody don't care about no Chipotle history. We people trying to get paid. Like, it was so crazy, and it's still one of these things that I think about till this day. Like, you guys really aren't hiring people because they don't know about the history of Chipotle. Like, nah, bro. Like, get out of here with that. So, but anyways, yeah, so they were on that stuff. But no, though, it was like, and then they went with another option that was there because, like, you know, I guess he knew more of it and stuff. But that was something that I wasn't expecting. That was like, you know, I'm over here expecting, like, okay, what kind of interview questions, like, not having to do with, like, a history lesson and things, but, like, you know, how are you in this work environment? Because my thing is this, it's crazy how, like, you know, working at that cafe, and I've seen, like, you know, myself in action and some of the most craziest, like, and I feel like with Chipotle, it's like, you know, you ain't got a whole lot of people going in there compared to, like, how it was at my cafe. And I feel like, you know, in my opinion, interview questions is like, okay, how do you handle, like, a lot of pressure? Like, you know, a bunch of customers just rushed in, you're taking all these orders, you're making all these burritos, blah, blah, blah. Like, how do you handle stuff like that? Are you calm, cool, and collected, or do you kind of get the nervous sweats because you don't know what's going on and stuff? Like, you know, how do you handle that situation? Or let's say something goes out and, you know, you got some customers, like, what do you do? Do you accommodate those customers? Do you give them, like, a gift card and say, hey, you know, we're kind of out of business at the moment? You know, what would you overall do in that situation? You know, or it's like, okay, it's, you know, you're snowed in and freaking Batman is outside fighting and stuff, and then a shark just somehow, you know, appeared in our kitchen. What do you do? Like, you know, like, jokes aside, though, like, because if that would have been happening, I'm like, I'm quitting right then and there. I'm like, it's snowing, Batman's outside fighting, and the shark isn't. No, I'm quitting. I'm like, that's what I'm gonna do. But, like, I'm saying, though, but, like, that's the type of questions that you should be asking an individual, not no stuff where it's like, okay, you know, like, this is kind of like a rant towards Chipotle right now, because I'm like, no, you guys are tripping for that, not hiring people. If they've done this to other people, I'm like, Chipotle, it's you guys, man, something ain't right with you guys. I'm like, I think that's probably one of the main reasons why I've never eaten at that place. Like, don't get me wrong, I want to try a burrito one day in my life. Like, I mean, I had the opportunity at my old job because they had, like, I think, yeah, they had, like, breakfast burritos, at, you know, like, on one day out of the week. So I had an opportunity, and I feel like probably most likely my old job would have had better burritos than Chipotle and stuff. I feel like Chipotle is like the McDonald's of, like, burritos. Who knows? Maybe they do have good burritos and stuff, but I'm like, hey, people was probably saying that about McDonald's at one point, saying, oh, they have good fries, or they have good burgers, or they have good nuggets. And then when you go and try out different restaurants, you're all like, oh, dang. So I think if I ever were to try a burrito, because of my history knowledge of Chipotle, I think I'm not, you know, eligible to be a customer. So I'm like, imagine if they had been asking customers that, though, where it's like, oh yeah, it's like, dude, first, before we give you your burrito, can you answer these trivia questions about Chipotle? And it's like, homie, take my money, give me my burrito, let me go on about my business. I do not have the time to be out here answering no trivia questions about no Chipotle and stuff. But anyways, now that I ain't got that out of my system, all right, stay tuned for the next episode of my, however long I talk on it, my roast to Chipotle, because I'm like, no, you guys are crazy. But overall, like, you know, seeing that, and then, yeah, you know, then just other, like, life experiences and stuff. Like, I mean, you know, having it where it's like, you know, if there's a girl that I'm attracted to, and I, you know, tell her that, and then, you know, she's telling me, like, oh, I'm kind of seeing somebody, or, like, you know, stuff like that, like, it lingers with you and stuff. Like, and that's one thing where it's like, I guess, like, to, you know, people probably ask me that question, like, how do you shake that? And it's like, or how do you, like, shake that, like, lingering, you know, like, not feeling, but thought, like, out of your head and stuff, where it's like, you know, that there's somebody, because, like, the thing is this, because I think that's one thing that a lot of people think of, that, you know, that individual is better than you. No, they're not. I'm gonna tell you that right now, and I feel like that I would say that, And then, like, you know, one of the girls that's, you know, then turned me down for another guy would, like, bring it. But, I mean, it kind of did happen a little bit in things. Like, she didn't exactly say it, but, like, how she worded it, it made it come off as, like, she was saying that this guy, he more so did more for her and stuff. Or I guess, like, the things that he did do was a lot bigger than the things that I did and stuff. So, yeah, and I'm like, and you know, it's stuff like that where it's like, it lingers with you and you try. My thing is this with me, like, I try to be a good person. I try to have a good mindset. I try not to hold grudges. You know, overall, like, but like I said, like, I'm trying every day to be a better person and not be petty and be more forgiving. But it's honestly one of the hardest things that I'm like trying to do right now because, nah, man, it's like, I'll admit, like, I'm a petty person, you know, I kind of somewhat hold grudges and stuff, you know, and even, you know, with the one girl from the whole stuff 2 years ago, like, a part of me wants to, like, hold a grudge, but at the same time, it's like, I don't, because I'm like, I don't want to be that person, you know, like, I don't want to, like, leave this world one day, and then, like, that was, like, my last, you know, few memories and things, like, I'll have my, like, and, you know, that's the thing, though, where it's like when you're dealing with stuff like this, you're going to have mood swings. You're going to have it where it's like, you know, one day you're all like, hey, you know what? I don't even know why I was mad at this person. And then next day you are like, you know, well, they did say this. They did do this. So I'm like, you know, I don't necessarily care for ever talking to that person again. So it's just a constant, like, battle with your brain. And that's like I have to say, that's like the main issue when you're dealing with something to this extent where you're having others, you know, choosing, you know, you, it's like choosing others over you. It's like you're also battling yourself at the same time, you know, and also battling, like, trying to battle other people. Like, you're trying to one up and be better than other people. And nobody's life should be like that. So that's why overall, though, like, the main key, like, motivation I want to put in your guys' hearts is that you gotta, like, I mean, you're gonna most likely be searching around a little bit, but you gotta find somebody that chooses you in any given situation, any given point in time, like, unless they're, you know, like, you know, religious or a Christian or something, they're all like, you know, like, yeah, God first, of course, but, like, you know, overall, like, you are on that list of, like, people that they, you know, will, like, choose, or, like, you're like well, in more so relationship terms and all that stuff, then, yeah, you know, but it's like, I ain't trying to, you know, get involved. I don't think I would date a girl that's like that. She says that she worships me more than Jesus and God, and I'm like, nah, I don't like that. I'm like, I'm not that much of a high figure. I'm like, that's not me. I'm sorry. So I'm like, you're gonna have to pick up a Bible and read a little bit and, you know, like, kind of exclude me. Like, and that's the thing where it's like, I'm not asking for, like, an obsessive person, you know, I'm just asking for somebody. It's like the amount of love that I give out, like, I want that love back, you know, rather than, because, and the thing is, I know people are going to probably ask me that question too. Have I ever chose a person, you know, over somebody else? Yes, I did last year. And it honestly, like, you know, when I think about it, it was a mistake, you know, but and the thing is like, I feel like it's one of those mistakes you learn from it and stuff. Cause I'm like, man, you know, like, this person overall was a good person, but I know it's not going to work out because, like, I did tell them that, you know, there is somebody else, but just to find out with that individual, there was already somebody else. So yeah, it's like, it's, you know, I feel like that there's, like, life lessons that you learn, and that's one of them. It's like, you know, if you have somebody good in your life, it's like, fam, you know, just give them a chance. You know, it's like, it's not going to hurt you. It's not going to hurt them. If it don't work out, fam, then, you know, it doesn't work out. I don't know, like, why it's like that, though, where it's like, I don't know if it's overall, like, people are, like, scared of having a good relationship or what, but it's like, oh, I don't want, like, the perfect significant other. And that's the thing, though, where it's like, I've never claimed to be perfect. I'm just, overall, my thing is this. I'm not gonna be, you know, just, I guess, to, like, plead my case, like, putting out my, you know, my boyfriend application, I guess, you know, for any single ladies out there. I'm not a guy that, you know, looks at himself as, like, a king or a god, you know. So, like, my thing is this. I'm nice, you know, I'm a nice guy. I'm not going to be rude to you. I'm not going to, you know, crush your dreams. I'm going to be supportive. I'm looking forward to a long-term relationship. What else? Like, getting back on that supportive stuff. It's like whatever you want to do. Like, let's say for an example, if I'm in a relationship and my girl's all like, I don't know how to tell you this, but I want to, go back to school and stuff. I want to study some things in college that I always wanted to do. I'm like, fam, okay. I'm like, when do we start? Like that's my question to her. She's probably thinking like, oh, we ain't gonna be spending as much time. But I'm like, if you don't need me to be there, then I'm like, okay, I won't be there. But if you need me to be there, as a support team, I'm like, fam, we're both gonna be going through this together and stuff. Let's say she's all like, if I wasn't into the content creating stuff, but she was into the content creating stuff, I would put my differences aside. I think I'm only saying this because I am a content creator, but overall though, it's like I will put my differences aside of however I feel about content creating. I'm like, okay, when do we start? I'm like, what kind of camera should you get? Should you get this camera? Should you get that camera? GoPro cameras are nice though because they're waterproof. I'm like, but you can use your cell phone camera, but you could get like I'm coming up with everything possible. If let's say she wants to get into gaming, I'm like, okay, my best bet, get you a gaming PC. You ain't got to pay for like no memberships, none of that stuff. You are going to have to upgrade them parts and that's going to be expensive. So it's going to most likely be about the same price of like, monthly services like Xbox and PlayStation and all that stuff. But you're looking in that route, then you're gonna want to go for the highest membership for both platforms and things, both Xbox and PlayStation. What others? She wants to get into cooking. I'm like, okay, if you need me to be your test subject, testing out your food and stuff, hey, I'm down for it. I'm like, I might be a picky eater, but I'm like, that's the thing though, like when it comes to like me and support, I'm like, fam, I will be up in the middle of the night, like doing the work for her most likely. And what are some other things? Communication. I'm like, if there's something on my mind, so like, let's say for an example, if I didn't, it's like, like if I didn't support those dreams, but it's like, that's the thing though, where I just feel like when you're in a relationship, and it's like, at that point in time, I feel like that's like when you're kind of like, you have to accept that person. And if you don't, then it ain't really a relationship. You just kind of seeing this person forever, pleasure and reason you need to see this person. So like, that's why with me, I'm like, I just know, like, I don't know, like, I'm trying to think like there's probably, I have to say probably the only things is like, maybe like being an OnlyFans like content creator or something. I'm like, now that, I'm like, I don't know about that because I'm like, I'm like, dang, if I need to like, put in more work or something, I'm like, I'll do that. But I'm like, I don't know. Like, that's just not something I feel comfortable with. And I, don't necessarily feel comfortable with my significant other. She's doing that. So yeah, it's like, it's one of those things where it's like, if that's the end of the relationship, I'm like, hey, I don't want this to be like bad or anything. It's like it ends off on like, hey, you need advice on like content creating. I don't know too much about OnlyFans, but I'll give you the best advice that I possibly can give out. What are some other things, but if that's the case though, where it wasn't something that I necessarily support, then I'm like, then yeah, I'll end things off on, good terms. And that's it. I know people are gonna probably be all like, she'll probably get upset, for you ending the relationship. And I'm like, well, it's like, my thing is this. I feel like that's like when communication comes into play, and it's like, I'll explain to her why I don't support that stuff. So like, let's say if it wasn't the OnlyFans stuff and she wanted to play video games or something, I'm all like, hey, video games just don't really seem like it's like it's just, well, because that's the thing where it's like it wouldn't even have anything to do with me. So that's why I'm like, I can't even come up with like a legitimate like answer on why I would not support it and stuff, because I'm like, for one, it ain't got nothing to do with me. So like, that's why it's like, well, why would I not support it? And I guess like, yeah, well, OnlyFans, but I feel like with that line of work and things, it's like, yeah, you kind of putting your personal business out there. And I know people are gonna like, well, everybody, and I know people are gonna probably say some stuff like, well, everybody got boobs, everybody got all them like parts that be getting shown on OnlyFans. I'm like, hey, but I'm like, that's just with me. It's like, I like to keep that. If that's the case, then we should all just be walking around the streets butt bald naked and things. We can't do that. Why? Because it's indecent exposure. You're gonna get a ticket or fined for some stuff. Not trying to say that that's how it is, but I'm like, my thing is, it's, at the end of the day, it doesn't even really matter what others think. And I know that shouldn't be like the main subject, because I'm saying it's like, at the end of the day, it's like, it's you and that person, right? So like I should be supportive. I guess that's just the one thing where it's like, hey, it's like it's something that I know I don't want to be a part of. If I was like living that lifestyle and things, I want to keep that part of my life private. So I'm like, I guess if that makes sense to people and things, but you know, it's like I think like a person's privacy, like you shouldn't really, that's kind of like me, you know, pulling my, like, you know, my get out of jail free card and stuff. It's like I just feel like, you know, privacy, and I'm like, overall her privacy, if that's what she want to do, I'm like, then hey, then that's on you. I just can't overall be involved. And then yeah, with the, you know, OnlyFans, I think I've said that before. I don't want people approaching us but like, hey, I seen your new content last night, talking to her, and I'm like, that's just gonna be awkward and stuff. It's like, you know, I'm not trying to hear them giving out like tips and tricks on, oh, if you trying to, you know, be in this position when doing, no, bro, I ain't even trying to hear all that. So anyways, yeah, I think that's just some stuff where I'm like, nah, I can't really support it. Sorry, but you know, it's like, hey, I guess like the thing is this, like I said, I'll give out advice, I'll do what I can, but I'm like just overall in a relationship, yeah. But anyway, I like how this was about, like, you know, me, your people choosing like others over, like, you know, me or whoever is watching this. Like, this is what this is supposed to be. I don't know what it became now, but anyways, but no, like, because I need to start up my stream. I'm like, I'd start this podcast episode way too late, but overall though, like, you know, to give out like some advice to help y'all out in a situation like this, it's like, you know, you got to move on. It's like, that's one thing. If somebody chooses somebody else, like somebody that you care about chooses somebody else over you, you gotta move on from that person. It's like, and that's overall what I've had to do with a lot of people and stuff, where it's like, if they chose me, or chose others over me, then I'm like, hey, so be it. You know, it's like, the thing is like, I, you know, want to wish that person, I am like, I not even want, like, I am, I'm like, I wish you the best in life, but overall I can't be a part of that life. And that's where it kind of like comes off as like, you know, me being petty, but I'm like, I don't really consider that being petty. It's like, I just don't want to be involved in a life where it's like, I'm not fully involved. I want to be involved. Like, this, you know, it's weird. It's weird overall, but yeah, I'm like, I just can't, you know, be involved in a life. And it's like, bruh, you ain't even, like, I tried, and then it's like, you know, it don't lead me nowhere. So yeah, it's like, I just gotta move on and things. So, but I think it's just overall, it's like, that's the best advice I possibly can give y'all. It's like, you know, you just gotta move on from people. If they don't want you there, they don't want you there. So it's like, you know, hey, so be it. So, but anyways, and that being said, I will talk to y'all later. Thank you guys for watching and or listening. If you're viewing this on YouTube, make sure you like and subscribe. And if you're viewing this on a podcast sharing service, make sure you follow or subscribe, however it's set up. Make sure you subscribe to one of my 43 YouTube channels. Follow me on Twitter, TikTok, Twitch, and Instagram at TMossBoss. Make sure you follow my Facebook page at TMossBoss fan page. Also, if you were purchasing any tickets from SeatGeek, make sure you use my promo code TMossBoss. It will knock $20 off your first purchase. Thank you guys for watching and or listening, and peace.